So yes, I am sure CD Projekt RED today is at the dance floor celebrating right now that finally the lawsuit is behind them. So today we're going to be talking about this one right here. Check it out. It says CD Projekt has settled its Cyberpunk launch lawsuit, paying suing investors just $1.85 million. And that is just a slap on the wrist for them. They can just walk away and be like, hey, we're done with this, because they made hundreds of millions of dollars off Cyberpunk 2077 despite the issues, and they're only having to pay out $1.85 million. Now, there's very good news about this, of course. You got the developers, they can get to work on the game without the distraction of this big lawsuit. So that's actually good news. But the bad news is, of course, that we're going to see this recurring theme of bad launches throughout the history of gaming forever. I swear, it's just going to keep going. But anyway, let's get into the actual news as to what's going on around this lawsuit right now, and then also get into the reactions from the community. It goes on to say this: a new statement released today states that negotiations were concluded on Wednesday and will see CD Projekt paying out just $1.85 million to the plaintiffs, and that is it. According to the term sheet, members of the class, including the plaintiffs, shall relinquish any and all claims against the company and members of its management board, the statement reads, which just means, despite the fact that CD Projekt is paying this out to investors, they are not admitting guilt in a legal sense at all. They are walking away with a clear conscience and moving on from this situation. Let me know how you feel about that, by the way. Leave a comment down below, because I love to highlight comments in future videos. By the way, see the links in the description below. Follow me out on Twitter. I'm going to start highlighting Twitter comments as well. So please follow me out on Twitter. I'm going to ask you guys some questions out there as well. Now, it says here, for comparison, CD Projekt made over $563 million in game sales during Cyberpunk's release month alone. That is mind-blowing. And it says, and it spent just $2.2 million on its Help Me Refund campaign, designed to provide refunds to players who were unable to claim one from the original vendor. But you can see this game has massive potential on many fronts, in my opinion. And of course, walking away from that type of total sales figures for CD Projekt RED is just not doable. They're going to put a lot more effort into, I believe, Cyberpunk 2077, especially in 2022, when we're talking about new game updates, expansions, and that sort of thing. So I do expect them to go all in with the next big updates for this game. Just because, my God, it's nearly $600 million. That's absolutely mind-blowing. But let's talk about this one right here. It says, at the time, business analyst Mike Footer analyzed the financial report and noted that CD Projekt identified around $51 million as provisions for returns and expected adjustments of licensing reports related to sales of Cyberpunk in its release window in Q4 2020. So they expected roughly around $50 million in terms of people refunding the money that they had to actually, I guess you'd say, free up and consider as a loss to this game. Of course, that's not much, considering the game made $600 million. Now, of course, they would take home less than that, considering that you got to consider the net worth and things like that of the sales. All right, so let's get into the reactions to this, shall we? Overall, CD Projekt RED seems to be coming out ahead from this lawsuit. Great news for the development team. Bad news overall, in my opinion, for the gaming industry, because we're going to see this just repeat itself. You're going to see other companies go, they only had to pay $1.8 million. Maybe we can actually do this as well. But let's see what you guys had to say about this out in the community. Let's zoom it in. It says, the low amount and the fact it's been made public indicates to me that this lawsuit by investors would have been difficult to prove in court. And this one comes from Limey Spud. It says, it's cheaper for CD Projekt RED to settle out of court, plus it allows them to move on and remove this distraction. I hear you on that one. It says, I suspect this looming lawsuit has been major fact in CD Projekt RED's silence over the last year. Absolutely. So that's actually a really good point. We might see communication open back up for Cyberpunk 2077, especially once we get clear of 2021. I hope that CD Projekt is considering giving their developers a little bit of a break during the holidays. And then they say, hey, let's get back on it in 2022, because this has been absolutely a very rough experience for the developers in particular. Now, it says this right here. It was the investors who pushed to have the game out sooner rather than later. And this one comes from Canadian Keanu, I think it is. And yeah, so it's interesting where the blame game is here. Of course, in my opinion, it goes to the board, the people that were absolutely in charge. They did not have to listen to investors, and that's proven more recently with how they are actually listening to the developers of Cyberpunk over the investors when it comes to delaying the next gen update to this game. That's been, of course, delayed into 2022. But then we have this comment here as well. It says, Silent Revis says, hopefully now they've learned their lesson that rushing a product out was in fact not good for investors. And yeah, it wasn't good for investors. It wasn't good for their actual gaming community, their hardcore fans. It wasn't good for them. And also it wasn't good for their actual stock as well. They lost I think it was $6 billion worth on their stock. They used to be considered one of the absolute major Polish companies in the stock market as well. Now let's talk about what's happening in 2022 a little bit. For Cyberpunk 2077, we're going to be getting two major updates, of course, in early 2022. That's going to be really big. You're probably wondering, what are the two major updates? Of course, we're getting the next gen update, which I'm really excited for. That's going to be happening for basically the PS5, Xbox Series X, and Xbox Series S. And yes, even the PC. And I don't think it's wise for them to neglect their PC audience at all, considering that's where a lot of the players are. But at the same time, I think it's safe to say they want to continue growing their console audience. I think CD Projekt RED, honestly, just speculating here, are somewhat or very disappointed by the audience size on consoles. And they really, really want to grow that to being top tier numbers, especially when competing against the likes of GTA and stuff like that. But anyway, let's see what you guys had to say about this one. I did a recent video about this right here, that Cyberpunk 2077 was caught in a lie. And also I did some news about Hogwarts Legacy recently. I'm actually really hyped for that. Can't wait to see what happens with Hogwarts Legacy. Let's see what you guys had to say about all of this. Now, the lie that CD Projekt RED was caught in, I guess you would say, is, in my opinion, my personal opinion, it's not even that big of a deal. It's basically Keanu Reeves in a recent interview saying that he's never played Cyberpunk 2077 ever. He's seen demonstrations. And then on the flip side of things, you have CD Projekt RED, which has said that yes, he has absolutely played it and he absolutely loves it. So you have those things contradicting one another. So let's see what you guys had to say about it. We have Mighty Link, who says, I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but as soon as I heard it was going to be a fully fledged RPG instead of all those terrible movie tie-in games, I became thoroughly interested in it. If it's like the Mages Guild from Elder Scrolls expanded into an entire game, I will most certainly buy it. That sounds really cool. I love RPGs. I will play them from any franchise if they're good enough. Yeah, you know, it looks beautiful. I really hope that it pans out to be a really good game. To have an open world Hogwarts, that would be freaking amazing. All right, now we have Tommy Tucker, who says, as far as the Keanu situation, I'll just say many of the truths we cling to, depend largely on a certain point of view. I'm definitely looking forward to the Hogwarts Legacy game, but no matter how good the trailers look, I'll be waiting for reviews to buy it. Yeah, always wait for those reviews. And this is a good quote as well. It does depend on the point of view. And I honestly think, who knows what happened with the whole Keanu versus CD Projekt RED situation. It could have been that Keanu actually went hands-on with the game near launch, or when he was actually, you know, recording for the game, just saw it, played it for like a moment and liked what he saw. And that's something that he, you know, could have enjoyed. And that's what I think what happened, is he didn't actually play the full game, a full walkthrough. And to me, that's okay. He's an actor. Then we have this one right here. This is a long one. Oh my God. This says, I feel like the reason I got the game was, first off, I played the tabletop game and very excited to see so much of the lore transferred over to what I thought was going to be a massive open world game like GTA 5. In that respect, the game delivered an absolutely perfect experience. The other reason I pre-ordered the game was the 45-minute gameplay trailer. Sure, it was overhyped the game a little, but also the point I realized I probably let my expectations go a little wild. All in all, I think my wavering interest in the game has really been shaped by some of the experiences that other fans have imparted on me. Like, I was playing this game on high settings with my 4-year-old gaming PC, and outside of some graphic glitches, I was still able to play it and actually happy with it. It's really only when I started watching more and more critical videos of the game showing how much less intuitive the AI system is that I started to doe some of the enjoyment of the game. But after putting it down and thinking about how the game works and the setting you are in, I'm not sure if the project team really did fail to deliver a really good game. I did not finish the game, but I do plan to pick it up after patch 1.5 is implemented, if only because I do feel like I got a craving to play, and now that there is a lot more mods for the game, I think it could be fun to get into. Absolutely, the mods really bring life to the game. It says, that said, I don't really do the pre-order thing, and there is probably not another game around that'll make me want to pre-order, and I did wait till the week before launch to buy it. So basically, the only one time I pre-ordered a game, it turns out to be the most massive stinker ever to exist. Yeah, I still can't get over. I mean, these guys made The Witcher and everything, but yeah, some good points there. It's interesting how, you can play a game for yourself, really enjoy it, and then you can have the influence of, media, social media, what have you, where they really start nitpicking about certain things. And of course, the systems in Cyberpunk, don't get me wrong, are underwhelming in many areas, but there's also very, very redeeming qualities to this game. And that personally gets me excited for the future of this game. And yes, franchise. I think they're going to still stick with this whole Cyberpunk franchise between TV series, video games, and that sort of thing. So yeah, we'll see what happens in the future. But there it is, everyone. It looks like CD Projekt RED is in shape right now to really hone in and focus on Cyberpunk 2077, getting the game into shape in 2022. I hope that happens. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more, and I will see you all next time. Take care.